All right, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to So Many Levels. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yay!
Hey.
We have, once again, the return of our beloved paladin, Chooch Schubert as Otacree,
Hello, hello.
Starla Hutchton as Nirakina Ethu,
Greetings and salutations.
and Vivid Muse as Amethyst.
Good evening.
So once again, we're missing our Jared in both senses of the word. Hopefully, Jared can return his Mugen soon, but we're trying to sort out scheduling, and doing that with new baby is just not a piece of cake. But any case, here we are to continue our story proper after Amethyst and Nira had a little bit of a shared nightmare last week, visiting the Tomb of Horrors and having an extremely rules loose fight with Acererak towards the end there. It occurred to me only afterwards that when I was getting frustrated with it dragging out so long, I was giving you unlimited spell slots. Why did I think that was going to make the fight not last forever?
I don't know, but it was really fun. I really, really needed that.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm glad you
I've
guys...
still got my notes sitting here on my character sheet, and wow, they make no sense.
Night's good color. What does that mean? Yeah. But yeah, so
do stuff. Oh, that's vague.
so now we're going to return to our campaign proper, though. Just a couple of brief notes from the last time that we were in our campaign proper. And one is that I had a number of people reach out to say, what about the bag of holding? The fairy dragon took it and we never got it back. But of course, you guys know that we discussed that, off the broadcast almost immediately, which is just to say that I just didn't say so. But as soon as the fairy dragon reappeared, turned back invisible, he just dropped the, or she just dropped the bag of holding, and you guys picked it up. So it is not still missing, but sharp viewers and listeners with an attention for detail did catch that I forgot to say so in the episode. So good on you guys for holding us accountable in that sense, because of course, if you guys were still missing that bag of holding, that would be kind of a bigger deal.
Yeah, and I did whimper after we were done, the bag of holding, and that's what you told us, right? Yeah, but it wasn't on air. But yeah, thanks guys, because we could have missed that.
And like just for verisimilitude, it's one thing for us as players in a game to not remember that we didn't get it back, but I feel like you guys would have noticed, like in the reality of the story we're telling, you guys would not have forgotten that you didn't get the bag of holding back.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, so in any case, that's but like I said, thank you to everyone who pointed that out, because it's great to know you're paying attention, more attention than we were at the moment anyway. We only recognized later. But in any case, the other thing that I'll just point out is that you guys get 300 XP for your two encounters, one with the fairy dragon and one with the ogre and the owlbear. Even though you didn't actually, you kind of bypassed that. You got a little bit of experience for figuring out what was going on before you noped out. So
noped out. That's a good way of putting it. Nope.
Yeah. But so with those little bits of business accounted for, who wants to recap us for where we left off?
We were facing down some wood elves.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just found us.
Yeah. So basically, in your attempts to learn more about what was going on around you guys, in particular when faced with some magical trickery from a fairy dragon, you consulted Lenamara, and the growth of her magical tree uprooted some smaller trees, and you did your best to put them back afterwards, and you did a pretty good job, but it was clear still from inspection that something had happened. And you had been warned by Andrew Brushgather, your halfling scout who is accompanying you guys, that the wood elves around here really don't like people messing with the forest. So, sure enough, as you were traveling through, you found yourself shadowed by some wood elves who then dropped out of the trees to tell you that they really don't care for the way you uprooted those trees. So that is where we rejoin the party. The wood elves, you've only seen a couple of them, but you would not be surprised to find that there are more that have just not revealed themselves around you. And the one who seems to be kind of in charge is wearing this wooden mask that's similar to the ones that you saw the elf gang members wearing in Villa Nocta. So it's all made of wood, and it's kind of featureless except for the eye holes. But he steps forward and says, "We were watching you as you passed through these woods. We saw you uproot those trees. You must be judged by the Mother of the Briar, and she will determine your penance."
Okay.
Well,
I
I
mean,
think
really?
we have two choices. We can either fight or we can just go. I say we just go.
Yeah.
I would not advise trying to escape justice. Andri does kind of just poke at you just a little bit and saying, "Just want to say I've never heard of this before." So that's my contribution.
Would Nira know anything about this? Like, she's not a wood elf, but would
Right.
she have any knowledge?
You can make a religion check.
15 plus 3 plus 2, so 20.
So that's pretty good. What you don't know anything about the Mother of the Briar specifically, but to be sure, the naming terminology seems in line with the sorts of spirits that wood elves might choose to serve or worship. And the idea that there would be some local nature spirit that would kind of reign over the forest and decide who should be allowed to pass through and so on is certainly plausible. But you don't know anything about this specific one. You've never heard of it before.
All right. Well, I'm admit to some curiosity. I'm happy to go.
All right. The rest of you then?
Yeah, we certainly didn't mean any disrespect. We'll pay penance.
The Mother of the Briar knows all in this forest. She will weigh your transgression and determine what the next steps shall be. I would advise that you dismount your horses at this time.
Were we riding? I thought we were.
Yeah.
Because it had gotten difficult going, so I thought we were walking.
Okay, well, I mean, you can, if you were walking them, then it's like, so you can leave your horses here. We will ensure that they do not leave and are not harmed in your absence.
Okay.
All right. Show of good faith. All right.
I'm carrying the bag of holding. I also have one of those biker chains, and it's to me, so no dragon fairies can fly off with it. We could name it something else.
Sure. Well, so while we're talking about it, Amethyst, go ahead and make a nature check.
19 plus something.
Well, you're proficient in nature.
Oh,
so that's-
24.
Yeah. So what you know is the way you left those trees, they're going to be fine. Like I said, you can, like, someone could tell that something had happened, but the trees were not going to die or anything. And it was
Okay.
done by summoning a dryad of all things.
Right.
So the idea that they're calling that a transgression that might require penance seems a little bit of an overreaction to you.
Agreed.
So
Well, I do think they're overreacting, but they're wood elves. They're, you know.
And if we know
Bunch.
anything about elves,
Yeah.
they're quick
Well-
to the sacred flame. So let's not anger them.
What are you saying?
Well, so for that matter, Nira, as the wood elves start to guide you in the direction that they're indicating, it's hard to get a read on wood elf's facial expression because of the mask, but detect a little bit of an attitude in the body language, not like even more to you than to everybody else.
Huh.
They're just jealous. Haters.
Rolling with the heroes of legend.
Right. So, one of the other wood elves sort of accepts custody, so to speak, of your horses, while the one that had spoken to you was leading you off in another direction. And he leads you. Basically, it's not, there's not a trail to speak of, but it's also not terribly hard going, at least at first. But it's going on for a while. He has you travel almost a mile, kind of through the forest here, and so it takes some time. You're walking for maybe 20 minutes, and you notice, as you know, that the woods start seeming a little older, a little wilder, like as you go. And then eventually he takes you to what looks like a clearing, but not, it's a little bit unusual because in the center of the clearing is what looks like almost like a hedge maze made of these 10-foot tall like hedges of thorny vines growing up in these tall, strange shapes. It's definitely very different than the surrounding forest. And the lead wood elf points to sort of an obvious opening. It says, "You will find the mother of the briar through there, and she will determine the price to be paid for your transgressions."
Okay.
So is the mother, she's an elf? She's an actual wood elf?
She is a spirit, a wise spirit that reigns over this part of the forest and makes her judgments over those who would travel through her domain.
Has she been with you long?
Long enough.
That's big. All right.
Yes, it is. It's big.
All right. Let's head in. Boom, ba-doom, boom.
All right.
First chooch.
So you guys pass through this opening in these tall, as I mentioned, these like 10-foot, almost like walls of these really thorny, thick vines that are thick enough that you can't see through them. But like I said, there's an obvious opening that you pass through and enter sort of a little opening where you see more of a path curve off to your right. And as you enter that, you hear the twisting and stretching of wooden sounds, and you look to see more vines growing up to seal the opening that you just came through, until it, just like the other areas, is choked off with these thorny vines. And we're going to switch to our map.
Ah. Ooh.
Ooh. So, whoops.
Love those signs.
All right. Trying to make sure you guys can see everything. Can you see everything there, or is anything being blocked?
I believe I can see everything.
Looks clear to me.
All right, great. And so as you entered, as I mentioned, this opening here closes itself.
I know that spell. Well, I don't know it right now, but I'll know it.
Yeah, you definitely recognize it as not entirely dissimilar from the entangle spell that you know. However, your vines tend to be just these sort of like curling, wrapping, grasping vines, but these definitely have really sharp thorns on them. And it's a bit like your thorn whip, except again, like these are sort of seem permanent. They look permanent.
Gotcha.
So I'll also let anyone who wants to now make a perception check.
Doing it.
Yay.
And 13 plus 3, 16.
22.
19.
Okay.
9. Perceptive
Let's
as
see.
always.
Mugen can make one here too. Let's see what he gets. That's not a good roll. He gets a 12.
Doesn't
So
sound like him.
Amethyst, you're actually the only one to notice this at first, but in a couple of spots in the in these viney sort of walls, you spot these tiny little humanoid figures that are human, like they have 2 arms and 2 legs and a head like a humanoid shape, but they're only about 8 inches tall, and they look like their bodies are made from these sorts of thorny branches, and they're kind of hiding in the walls there, just watching you.
Hey guys, and I'm whispering this. I see there's at least 2 small critters in the trees. I don't know if you can see them or not, but just something to keep an eye on.
Like the twig blights?
Sure.
Yeah, you would say that they do look fairly similar to the twig blights, but these are a little bit more defined. The twig blights really looked almost like you just took sticks and sort of tied them together into a little doll and then it moved around. These definitely look like more like a living creature.
Like that, but more fleshed out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, these little things aren't doing anything but watching you right now.
And guarded.
Mm-hmm. All right. Are you proceeding into this little passage here?
Yeah.
All right.
Unless
Who's
you
going
wanna
first?
back your way out, but
Oh my gosh.
I'll go first.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll let Chooch go first. I'll follow him.
All right. Andrew volunteers to take up the rear, just to watch your back and all. So as you come around this side, whoops. All my little signs are not helping very much when they, yeah. So as you come around the bend here, you can see a little bit more. And Amethyst, you spot another one of these little things. All right. And so
Okay,
you're
I'm marching at a regular pace.
all right, making your way through.
Get this over with.
You're heading around through here. These thorny walls seem like they're even maybe a little bit taller here, and they're very thick. But you sort of hear like a creaking that sounds a little bit like if wind were blowing through the trees, but you don't feel any wind. Maybe it's just that the vine walls are blocking, but it seems like they are moving a little bit to some wind that you don't feel. All right. And
We have another thing watching us, and they're not doing anything to attack us and they're just watching. So I think that we just need to proceed and not harm anything until we need to, until we're in danger.
Okay.
So
So seem to
you,
be any pattern to the wind?
no, well, okay, make a perception check.
3.
Nope. No pattern that you can tell.
That's wind.
All right. So you guys are continuing to make your way up this way, and as you move this way, you see that it's opening up into kind of a bigger open area here. And what you see in the center of this big space here, what you see is what looks like a big sort of swampy, like mud puddle of like mud and muck, and like it's pretty gross, and it definitely kind of looks out of place. But then again, so do all of these vine walls. And Amethyst, you spot a couple more of these things. And then as you make your way in.
Yeah.
All right. So you just stand there for a little bit, and you're kind of just waiting for something to happen. I'm going to let everyone make another perception check.
5.
14.
All right.
17.
Okay. You see a couple of like tiny bubbles from the center of this little sort of muck puddle. And there, some of the water, like mud in it, is sort of moving like there's something in the water moving.
I think this is one danger hole I am not going to poke.
Danger hole.
Hello?
And as you guys approach this mud puddle, you see something does start to emerge from it, and it is this like it's really doesn't even have any sort of like a body shape. It's kind of just like this pile of mud and vines and like thorns and branches and just glop that's just kind of, it's definitely moving, but it doesn't really have like arms or legs or a head or a face or anything, but it rises up out of this sort of mud puddle there. And you guys notice that these little things are kind of moving around. They seem agitated now. And if you you can almost hear tiny chittering voices.
That's not creepy.
Is it a primordial or elemental?
It's not, but I'm going to let you make another nature check here.
19.
Okay, so 19. What you definitely recognize here is that this thing in the center is a significant spirit. When I say significant, I don't mean to imply that it's not like Rushama level or something like that, but it is a spirit. And these other little things are smaller spirits of some kind. But the other thing that you get, though, from this thing in the center is it really doesn't seem to have any kind of a mind to it. It seems to just be hungry.
Oh, great.
And with that, we're going to roll initiative.
Wonderful.
Oh, shit.
Oh, this is great.
I should know this by now.
Oh, that sucked. 7.
8.
Okay.
16. Thanks, guys. For
Your
rolling
favorite.
six.
Replay of last week, huh?
Yay,
well,
unlimited spell slots.
Well, Mugen actually gets number 1, first place initiative, because Mugen actually has a feat that gives advantage on initiative rolls and +5. So he's actually first up, and he goes, yeah, no thanks. And I think he starts.
Well, it seems perfectly in character.
Can you still see that it's not being blocked, or is it?
Nope, still see.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
great.
good.
I can just never tell where the little the little
Right.
profile pictures are going to be covering. Oh, it looks like we got a bunch of people in the chat. That's great.
Yay,
We're-
hi.
And so he basically just kind of, I think he's just moving back, so he doesn't take any other action at this moment. But what happens next is that one of these little things runs. It's like it's moving through these thick walls like they're not there. And then it kind of rears its head back and goes "Phew," and spits.
Rude.
And let's see what it. And it it rolls a 22, which hits, and basically what you see that it does is it spits a thorn out of its mouth, which strikes Mugen in the shoulder and does 4 piercing damage.
Oof.
And he's like, ow! All right. Now it's actually Andree's turn, and she's like, yeah, we're going to attack this thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then. And so she kind of jumps off to the side here and draws her bow. And let's see. She is gonna. She actually misses with her first shot, but she can fire 2 arrows. And she hits with her second one. 9.
Woohoo.
She does 10 points of piercing damage to this thing as her arrow shoots into this mound of thorny vines, and you can see it split some of these vines as it sinks in, and then just seems to disappear into this mound of glop. All right, it is Amethyst's turn.
So I guess I'm going to. Ooh, I know. I'm gonna tag Archie with haste,
Okay.
which is a spell that I'm sorry, I'm trying to read it. Until the spell ends, the target's speed is doubled. It gains +2 to AC. Because I know you're not going to be able to stop from running at the shit. And has advantage on dexterity saving throws. Gains an additional action on each of its turns. That action can be used only to take the attack, 1 weapon attack only, dash, disengage, hide, or use an object.
Very nice.
The duration is up to a minute, and when it ends, the target can't move or take actions until after its next turn, as a wave of lethargy sweeps over it. So,
right. So
enjoy
you're going to
that.
want to maintain concentration if possible, there, Amethyst, or else Archie will have that wave of lethargy. But otherwise, you are now feeling super fast, like the whole world is just moving in slow motion a little bit now. Do you want to take any other like a bonus action or move, Amethyst?
Where did the dart come from? Did it come from one of the little dudes or from the big dude?
It came from this little one that that moved through the vines and shot it at Mugen.
I'm going. No, I can't do that. No, that's all I'm going to do on this turn.
All right. Okay, so let me. So what we now get is that this one over here jumps across that gap, and this one moves down here, and together you see them like holding out their arms, like, and you see a bunch of thorny vines growing out of this area in a 20-foot square around where Mugen is. And so you see that that's difficult terrain, and those vines try to reach out and grab Mugen. Let me see. Does he make the check now? I believe he does. Okay, so Mugen has to make a strength saving throw, which is not really his best. He has a strength of 6. But he rolls a d20. So these little vines try to wrap around and restrain him, but he is able to summon an unexpected amount of strength in his little fox monkey body and pull out of these vines. So he is not restrained. All right.
Monk it.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's the mound's turn. And so it moves. It's faster than you'd think for a mound of glop, but it's because it doesn't even really take steps. It's almost kind of just rolling its whole mass. And it is going to try to slam you, Archie.
Come at me, bro.
It extends these big sorts of blobby, like pseudopods of thorny vines and mud. And get to 15, which probably doesn't hit, especially with you hasted, right? What is your...
It's currently 22.
Yeah, there you go.
With the haste.
Your plate armor
Sweet.
plus shield plus haste, is that what that is? Okay. Yeah, so
Sweet.
that... Yeah, so it tries twice to slam you with these big pseudopods, but you are able to bash one away with your shield, and then the other, you just sort of, you do one of those things where you see it coming, and it's like bullet time where you just go, you
Whoa.
lean back and watch it go by in slow motion. Yeah, so this thing doesn't touch you.
Yay, this thing
now-
doesn't touch you.
You're up, Archie.
All right. I will. I'm going to cast Bane.
Okay.
It's 3 enemies that I can see.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the blob.
Yep.
And since the 2 on Jared are behind me, I guess it'd have to be the other 2 blight or
So there's these 2 that
guys.
you can see back here,
Yeah.
and then there's 3 that are kind of behind you. I'll say, though, that you can see all of them, so you can pick any of those that you want.
Then yeah, the 2 between me and Jared that are
So these 2?
the 2, that are
Okay.
harassing him. So the effect is basically it's a 1d4 attack and save debuff.
Right.
So
They get
1d4
charisma
deducted.
saving throws. Yeah. So let's see. The little guys, their charisma is not too bad. So let's see. That guy fails. What's your DC?
Save DC is 14.
Okay, so 14. One of the of these 2, we'll say this guy succeeds in his saving throw, and this guy fails.
Cool.
As for the mound, you might be shocked to discover that its charisma is not great. And it rolls a 7, so you feel your bane effect take hold on this. And so my guess is so that is an action which would normally be your entire action, but because you're hasted, you're able to take another action as long as it is attack.
Which it will be.
All right.
Would this? Oh wait. When we saw it lift out of the mud, I guess I should have asked, would it be classified as a monstrosity?
No. In fact, it looks like it's a giant plant.
Okay.
But you also suspect that it's actually spiritual in nature. But
right.
Mechanically speaking, it's a plant. In game, it's a spirit. But so your sword is not gonna monstrosity sword is not gonna work. But also, we need to keep in mind which sword is which, right? Because the one that you just got decursed is not the same one as the monstrosity buff one.
Yeah. And my go-to would be the one that's not, that I got uncursed.
Okay.
Since it's +1 all the time and not just special.
Yep.
So I'm going to try to remember when I first see things to ask.
Sure.
So
and what I'm going to say too, in general, is that I think I'm not always just going to tell you whether it is or not. But if you think that it might be an attack with one, I will tell you if you get the extra damage.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, I guess, yeah. I was making a bad assumption that monstrosity was like a size category, not a...
No, monstrosity
type.
is like, it's basically tends to be sort of distorted versions of things that you would otherwise consider normal. Like the owlbear is a monstrosity.
Right. So I get a 12 plus 8, 20.
That will definitely hit.
Then I would like to roll my 1d8 standard damage, which is 8 plus 7.
All right.
And throw in my bonus action. Which, Searing Smite. 1d6 fire damage.
All right.
So 6.
Okay. So you slash into this thing, and it's just shunk, and your sword just cuts right through these vines. So you can definitely see you're doing significant damage to it with the slash there, and then the searing smite, the fiery energy that accompanies the swing. You see that it scorches some of the vines, but it's so wet. This thing is half mud that you get the sense that it doesn't do as much fire damage as you would have expected.
50-50, I thought. It's either going to be susceptible or resistant. Right on.
What I will say is now that you've seen that, make another perception check.
Okay. 13.
You notice that the little things do not seem like wet and muddy in the same way. They actually look fairly dry and brittle.
Okay. Right on.
All right, but that's your turn?
Yep.
All right, so this...
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I get 2 attacks. I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait. It's a second action, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. You know what? The attack action, though, is what you got, right? You get with your haste, you got an extra attack action, which for you means 2 attacks. So yes.
Sweet. Another swing. Ooh.
No second bonus action, though.
Right. So that's no good. That's a 10.
10. Yeah, unfortunately, this thing sort of blobs out of the way of that second slash. Makes various slurpy glorpy noises.
Fair enough.
All right. So this little guy here is zipping down about that way, and he's going to shoot a he's going to shoot a thorn at you. Actually, you know what? He's not going to do that. He's going to come out of this wall of vines, come up to here, and he's going to slash at you with his claws. But unfortunately, neither of them are able to. With your fast feet and your armor, neither of those attacks are able to. Penetrate. Nira, you're up.
Finally. Ah. Okay, I am going to call lightning.
All right. So you summon the stormy wrath of Rushama, and it feels vaguely familiar, even though in real life you've never cast this spell yet, but you're excited to try it, and you have a general sense that it was cool in some way. But so, yes, storm clouds begin to swirl overhead. 60-foot, cylindrical storm cloud, 10 feet tall, centered, presumably above this mound. Is my guess.
So I have a question. So anybody within, I think it's, hold on, I'm looking. Within 5 feet of that point has to make a dexterity saving throw. Would that include Archie? Like, would he be?
Yes.
Probably.
Although he does have advantage on dexterity saving throws right now.
Okay.
But even if he succeeds, he'll still take half damage.
So, but because that thing takes up 4 squares.
Unfortunately, I mean, I get what you're saying, but if you're targeting the creature,
right?
Well, hang on. Let's see. Nope. Okay. Because of the specific wording of the spell says you choose a point you can see within range. So I will say you can target like the back half, and Archie would not be within 5 feet of that.
Okay.
Nice.
That is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. If you were targeting the creature, I would say you can't do that. But because the spell does say you can target a point. Okay. So yes, you guys all feel the air begin to crackle with ozone and ionic electricity, and you point to your chosen spot, and a bolt of lightning flashes down and strikes the exact point. But here's what happens, and you're a little surprised. First of all, go ahead and roll your 3d10. It does actually technically get to make a dexterity saving throw, which he gets an 18, which is a little unlikely, but
spry.
But, yeah. So it's going to take, it succeeded on the saving throw. So 3d10.
Is what I got.
3d10 is the 12.
Yeah.
Is the 3d10. Okay. So you get the sense that it would be taking 6 lightning damage. But when you see the lightning strike it, the electricity crackles all along through it, and it almost seems to regrow part of itself.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Ooh. Damn.
And it kind of shivers. All right. And then we got one more of these guys here. These child of the briar is what they are. And he's gonna come out this way. He's running there, but that's as far as he gets. He is gonna shoot a. You're the one that has done scary things, Archie. So he's gonna shoot a dart at you, a thorn, and he actually rolls a 24.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
You guys got
And
spunk.
you're gonna take 7 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
Yeah, that guy managed to find just a little bit of a weak point. Maybe got you in the neck or something. All right. We're back up at the top of the initiative. So Mugen is kind of like, I think they don't want me to go that way. So he moves up this way. 1, 2. So that's this is still difficult terrain, even though he's not restrained. So he gets out of that difficult terrain here and throws a smoke bomb into that area, which I'm going to say obscures kind of this whole area in smoke. So the three that were down there trying to entangle him are now blinded by this smoke. All right. Next up, one of those guys is going to try to come out of the smoke. And he does. Let's see. He has to try to see if he can get his dark tongue back, which he does. And so he's going to shoot another one of those at Mugen. But he misses. The dart this little thorn sails by Mugen. Mugen's able to duck out of it that time. And so now Andrea's turn. She is going to take out her short sword and wail on this. Wail on this little guy that's came up next to you, Archie. Gotta get to her. No. Okay. She rolls a 25 and a 17 with her two swings, which are both gonna hit these things. So 9, and she does a total of 14 points of damage to it.
Nice.
And you can see she's chopped a couple of notches out of this thing's limbs, but it also still looks fairly spry. She's like, wow, these things are tougher than I would have thought for being so small. And then he kind of recognizes the irony in that.
They don't seem to like fire.
Oh, good thinking, she says. So, Amethyst, you're up.
Has the bog monster thing done anything? Has it done any attacks or anything?
It attacked Archie and missed both times. So far, it has definitely tried to wallop him with giant pseudopods of mud and thorns.
Okay.
Like I said with your earlier nature check thing, like this thing has no mind. There's nothing to reason with there.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to, which is the one that attacked Mugen? Or was it both of the bottom two?
So this is, so the one that, the two that are still in the smoke are the ones that cast the entangle.
Okay.
This is the one that just attacked him.
Okay, I want to cast Produce Flame and...
All right. And throw it at that one?
No, I'm going to target the bog. What did you call the thing in the middle? I keep calling it a bog.
Well, I called it a mound.
A mound.
A mound.
I'm going to cast Produce Flame at the mound because I feel like that's the one that's pulling the strings here.
Yeah. Okay, so make your ranged spell attack.
8.
8. Unfortunately, your Produce Flame kind of it rolls off your fingers weird when you're trying to throw it, and it lands in the mud here and just
fun.
Yep.
And then I'd like to turn into a panda.
All right. Panda form activate.
Panda time.
And I'm putting my butt right near his face.
Yep.
To protect her.
Of course, I'm sure.
Shield to
Yep.
save her for her own good.
All right.
Can't see.
So next, we've got these two coming out of the smoke here. So this one is going to try to attack you, Nira. I'm trying to remember. Is this the one that I said failed the saving throw, or is this succeeded one? I'm trying to
That one
remember.
failed.
That was the one that failed. So
Yep.
it's still going to try to slash you with its claws, Nira. But it's going to have to roll a d4 and subtract that from each of its attacks. So it rolls an automatic miss and an 11, which neither of those would hit anyway. So I'm not going to roll the d4 for now. But yeah, it goes and it's slashing with these little thorny claws, but is unable to find purchase through your armor. All right, and so then this one is coming out too, and it's going to try to do that to Mugen. It rolls a 14 and a 9. 14 is enough, so it does 7 points of piercing damage to Mugen. All right. Now it's the mound's turn again. And you see Amethyst that you suddenly turning into a panda right next to it has sort of attracted its attention. And so it's going to turn its big old thorny pseudopods and try to slam you with them.
Sucker fell for my plan.
All right. It rolls a 9, which is, I think, a miss. And a 13. Remind me what your panda armor class is again?
Isn't it also? Or no? Did it make the throw? The Bane?
Oh, you're right.
Oh yeah, it failed the
It
Bane.
did
Yeah.
fail that, and so a 13 is what I said. So let's roll a d4 and subtract that. So that's a 2. So it means it rolled an 11. Which I think your armor class as a bear is better than 11, but let's confirm what it actually is.
I'm trying to find that now. I didn't have that on my cheat.
That's all right. It is, well, in fact, actually, it is exactly 11. So one of these slams misses, and then the other one hits and does 13 points of piercing damage as the thorns rake across your panda flesh.
Uh,
Yep. Okay, Archie, you're up.
Okay, going to swing again at the bog monster, mound monster. That is 11 plus 7 is 18.
That definitely hits.
On the second attack is 16 plus 7, so that'll hit.
Yep, both of those hit. So go ahead and roll your damage for those.
That is 14, the first one.
Okay.
13 for the second one. And I gotta try it. Bonus
All right.
action.
Yeah.
Bonus action, Thunderous Smite
Okay.
at second level. So it is going to do an additional 3d6 of thunder damage. And it says they have to do a strength save or they're prone.
Okay.
I don't know that prone really counts for this guy, but
Well, it does. It'll sort of flop against the ground as sort of instead of being up ready to move. But then again, strength is it's more of its cup of
11,
tea.
12, 13, 14, 15 points
And that's thunder damage.
of thunder damage.
All right. Yeah, you're doing a fair amount of damage to this thing. You're definitely chopping all sorts of little bits off of it. But it rolls a 20 for its strength saving throw, so it is not prone. But you did a bunch of damage to it just then, and I believe you still, as part of your haste.
Second
Well,
attack.
actually, before you do that, though, let me just Amethyst, you took some damage.
Yes. You said
so-
13.
Yes, so we're going to roll a concentration. So you're rolling
Oh,
a
yeah.
Constitution saving throw to see if you maintain your concentration. And I always forget how to do that, but let me look it up right now.
Oh.
Concentration.
Oh, concentration.
Yeah, so Constitution
That's-
saving throw is what you're rolling.
Oh.
Doesn't it have
Okay.
something to do with the amount of damage they
It
take?
does. That's what
I
I'm.
know there's
looking
like
at.
an automatic fail, yeah, if it's too much.
Yeah. So what did you get?
11.
Okay.
You have any
11.
bonuses for your
So the
cons?
DC equals
I
10
added
or half the damage you take, whichever number is higher, which would be 10 in this case, and you rolled an 11. So you maintain concentration on the haste spell on Archie. So
Yay.
he does get this second attack.
I'm a
actually.
mighty, mighty panda.
Yeah. All right.
Um,
Gonna make another 2 swings here.
if I'm able to, yeah, could I
Yeah.
take 2 swings on the one next to
Oh, okay.
my
You're
halfling
you're
buddy?
gonna. Yep. Sure. Gonna attack that one.
I think they're both in range, yeah.
Yep.
So, ooh, all right, one's a critical fail,
Okay.
and one is
Yeah. These little guys are spry.
17.
17 hits.
Ooh, this is my regular 1d8.
Mhm.
6 plus 7 slashing.
All right. It sort of screeches in pain, and you can see that it's definitely looking pretty wounded now, but not dead.
Cool.
All right. And in fact, so this, let's see, I'm trying to remember which one I have as, yeah, so this is actually the one, hang on, I have to, I had the wrong one taking damage in my list, which is fine. I just need to remember what I did there. So it is actually this one that gets its turn next, and it's going to actually try again. It's going to try to just attack you with its slashing claws again. You're the one that's really gets one automatic miss and a 19, which I guess is another miss too. Just because you are moving fast and heavily armored right now. Yeah.
So
Okay.
flying.
Yeah. So that one's done. Nira, you're up. You've still got your Stormclad going.
I know I don't want to waste it, but everybody's standing right next to these things.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So, you know what? I'm just gonna. Sorry, Mugen. I'm going to hit aim for the one.
Well, what I'll go ahead and tell you is that if you cast the lightning here,
Mhm.
it'll hit these two, but not Mugen.
Oh, sweet. Okay, yeah. Then I am going to do that.
All right. And they each make a dexterity saving throw. One rolls a d20 or natural 20. So one succeeds, the other fails the saving throw.
He pushes them out of the way.
Go ahead and roll your
in front of it.
damage there.
15. Sorry, I was doing math.
Okay, 15. Yeah, so one takes all of that and the other takes 7. I'm going to say that the one who is actually they both fail, because the one that I was saying succeeded, I didn't do the bane for that. That was the one that was baned.
I thought the one by me was the one that was baned. The other one had.
Oh, you're right. You're right. So it is back to what I said originally. One takes 15 and the other takes 7.
Right. And so I know it's gonna.
These ones are definitely damaged by it in the way you would expect. Unlike the mound, which seems to like it. All right, are you gonna move or anything else?
Because I'm not overly worried about this one here that's baned. So because I know it'll get an opportunity attack if I move away.
Yeah, but the opportunity attack will still be subject to the
Right.
bane. Yep.
So yeah, I'm going to move closer, like 2 squares over to like below Andrew.
Okay. Oops. All right, and it is going to swipe at you. It rolls a 13, which again that's not going to hit you, right? Your armor class is, I want to say 15.
15, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So it tries to slash at you as you move, but you are able to get out of the way. All right. And stay in there.
Yep.
All right. And then this last one is going to continue to slash at you, Amethyst.
Mm-hmm.
It rolls an 11 for one and a 19 for the other, and so for in your panda form, they both hit. And from those two attacks, you take 9 and 6, so another 15 piercing damage.
Okay.
What are you at with your bear now?
6.
Okay. What you also discover, though, is that its limbs, as it slashes them, its claws, once it gets both of them into you, it seems to be able to extend its limbs, like it's trying to wrap around and restrain you. But you realize, though, that you're too big for it to do that. So it's trying to restrain you, but you're too big.
Mm.
And so you don't take any additional damage.
Yay.
All right.
Panda power.
Yeah.
Panda bulk.
All right. Mugen is he's just gonna take his frying pan and panic flail at the one that's on him there. So that's gonna be a D20. Hang on. Where is he? Yeah. All right. So that's a D20 plus. I think I have him. Yeah. At okay. 1 plus 4. Unfortunately, his swing sails wide, but then he is going to use his cunning action, which is a bonus action for him to disengage from it and run through up. In fact, actually, he's going to run through he basically ducks between your legs, Nira, running by and gets up to here. All right. The one that he just swung at here is going to try to get its dart back, which it does not. So it's going to run up at you, Nira, and slash at you with its claws. 18 and a 7.
So is that a physical attack?
Yeah.
Like melee. So I will do the Wrath of a Storm.
All right.
Then.
So first take 8 piercing damage, but then you can do your Wrath of the Storm.
46. So 8, you said?
Yeah.
38. And I roll a what for the Wrath of the Storm?
Well, let's see. That's all right. I'll pull. That's why I have the book right here, so I can always look it up right away. Wrath of the Storm. When a creature within 5 feet of you that you can see hits you with an attack, you can use reaction to make a dexterity saving throw, and you roll 2d8. You can choose between lightning or thunder damage, and it will take full damage on a failed saving throw, half on a successful one.
You said 2d8?
Yep.
9 of lightning damage.
All right. And it rolls a 10 for its saving throw. So it's going to take that whole 9 lightning damage.
So do
and
I
this-
have to roll for, because I got hit, do I have to roll for like the concentration for the lightning?
Yes.
Okay.
And so you're going to have to beat 10 Constitution saving throw.
And I include my +3, right? Constitution.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, actually, I think you are proficient in Constitution saving throws.
No, I'm not. Wisdom and charisma.
No? Oh,
But
okay.
I
Yeah.
rolled an 11 plus a 3, so 14.
Yeah. So you maintain your concentration on the call lightning spell. And yes, this one, which is actually the one that took the full brunt of the previous lightning bolt, takes an additional 9
Mhm.
lightning damage, and it's smoking a little bit.
I get way too much joy out of that.
I'm going to say we've already ruled for this round, but don't forget you have your channel divinity destructive wrath that if you can pull out if you want.
Yeah, well, I didn't use it the first time through because I didn't know if it was gonna like hit.
No, it's not
or-
a bad idea because well, I'll go ahead and tell you because you've seen it. It absolutely would recover as many hit points as damage would or normally
Right.
be done.
That's what
So
I
it's
assumed,
just as
yeah.
well you didn't use that on the mound. All right. That was that last one there. I've lost track of where I'm at now. Okay. That should have been okay, Mugen just had his turn. And then we had that one. Okay, now it's Andree's turn again. She's going to continue slashing at this one that's there. And she rolls an 18, which hits, and a 21, which hits.
Right.
She does another 15 damage to this thing. And it is looking pretty rough right now. It's, it's not completely on its last legs, but it's one of its arms is kind of got it's hanging a little bit loose and it's looking pretty roughed up. All right. Amethyst, your turn. You're a bear. You got 2 of these things in melee range as well as the mound itself. You're muted.
Sorry.
That's all
I'm gonna throw myself at the mound and bite it.
Okay.
I got 6 hit points left. I'm gonna damn use them.
Yeah.
So I think I said bite first.
Yep.
Ooh, 23.
That'll hit.
Oh wait, 23. Let me make sure. What do I add to that? That seems high.
I think you're adding a
Just
D
adding the
plus 5.
damage. Yeah. Oh no, that is 23 then. Okay, sorry.
And so the bite damage then is 1d8 plus 4.
9.
Right. Yep. You rip a chunk of these muddy, gross vines out of this thing. Just rip it off.
Bet it tastes good too.
Is that count as vegetables?
Tastes like mud. Muddy
Like
vegetables, muddy
victory.
plants.
Yum. So I'm gonna slash at, what is it, claw? I'm gonna claw it too.
Yeah.
Holy cow, 24.
All right. Yeah, so that's a 2d6 plus 4 damage.
2d6. Sorry. 6, 10, 14.
All right. Yeah, this this mound is looking a lot less healthy than it did a few minutes ago.
Perfect.
Right. Let's see. All right. This one that is next to you, Archie, it's definitely still wanting to try to attack you, and it's getting really frustrated that it hasn't been able to touch you. Um, it gets a crit for the first one.
Ooh.
And then a 14. So that will fail, but the crit hits and does only 6 piercing damage to you.
Okay.
And I'll remind you, just because you actually haven't used it yet, but you do have your hellish rebuke if you want to.
Yeah, and I was just doing that calculus. I don't think I want to waste it on him.
Okay.
I think
All right.
it has the potential to do enough damage. I want a healthier one.
All right. So you take the 6 piercing damage from that
Yes.
one.
Ouch.
All right, and then we've got this guy here. I really should have had them all be on the same initiative. You know what? I'm doing that from here forward. All of these things, like once we get to the top of the round again, all of these little ones are on the same initiative beat.
Right on.
Because I'm losing track of them otherwise.
Yeah, I thought that one already attacked her.
There was one of them. There's 2.
Oh, right.
To her here, but they're both trying to continue to slash at her. But this is the one that's baned, doing it now. So it rolls an 11, but with the bane, that's going to miss. And then a 7, which would miss either way. So that one is trying to slash at you, at your panda butt, and it still misses. So, you know, as big as it is, it can't get you with its little thorny claws.
Ha.
All right, but it is the mound's turn again, and it's still it's going to try to slam you again. It's slamming Amethyst as the panda. Oh. It had more success with that.
Right.
Okay. It rolls a 23.
Ooh, I'll use my reaction. Protection. Use shield for attack disadvantage.
Oh,
against
okay.
ally within 5 feet.
Sure enough. So it's second
It
roll
gets
for the
attacked.
disadvantage of that first attack is it actually rolled the same thing. So unfortunately, that's a good thought, but it rolled the same thing twice. So that was his first attack. Rolls a 23.
Thanks for trying.
And then the second one is actually a 22. But so the first one, the first one is going to hit for 11 points of damage. Which you had 6 left as a panda, right?
Yep.
Blunk, pops you back to there, and then I believe you take the remaining, which would be 5.
Right.
Points of damage, and then its other one hits, and does another 15 points of damage. But here's also what happens.
Shit.
Yeah. Now that this thing has got something it can hit, it you can see how it's actually dangerous. But here's the thing. After it hits you the second time, the thorns dig into your flesh and it pulls you back into the mound and it engulfs you.
Cool.
Ew.
Yep.
I am
So
one
you
with
are
the mound.
You are now unable to breathe.
my
You are blind and you are restrained.
And I'm in human form.
Yep.
Fun.
Archie, yeah, this thing just ate Amethyst. It's your turn though.
Starla's lost it. What? I threw myself at it. I totally deserve it. Now we know what happens.
Oh God.
I'm not afraid.
I'm going to channel my divinity to declare a vow of enmity
Nice.
for this stupid thing. Attack roll advantage on one enemy within 10 feet
Right.
for a minute and unleash Ginsu Hell.
Incidentally, let's the amount of damage. Okay. Amethyst, roll 2 Constitution saving
Oh
throws.
yeah.
Oh, fun. Okay. Oh, okay. So the first one's 1.
Okay, yeah. So your concentration drops, and you are no longer hasted, Archie.
Sorry about that, bro.
No Ginsu.
And then 18.
Well, the other
plus-
one doesn't matter if you dropped it
Oh,
for the first.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Wasted
All right,
that.
so Archie, you're not hasted
Look at
anymore,
my
but you still get your
normal
your,
attacks,
your normal
right.
attacks. Yeah. So you channeled your divinity. Is that a bonus action?
Yeah. Once per day only, though.
Right. Okay, and that's the vow of enmity. Okay. Yeah, so you get your normal 2 attacks both at advantage.
First one's 26, and the second one
definitely hits.
is 20.
Those both hit.
Ooh. 8. 7. No.
Did you say
14.
28? Did you say 28?
28 to hit.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Right. So the first one does 14 damage, and the second one does 7.
Okay.
18 damage.
All right. Oh, wait. You said 14 damage and then 7?
And then 18 damage for the second attack.
So 14 and then 18?
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Because each one's. Oh, no, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry. No, I'm wrong. Each one's 1d8, not 2d8. Duh.
Okay.
So it was 7 and 8,
Okay.
and then plus 7.
Okay, so I
So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Jeez. Right? Yeah, because the sword does
8, 7,
1d8.
and 7 is 22.
Well, okay, but so each attack is you got a
Each
7
attack is
and an 8.
1d8. So I rolled a 7 for the first 1d8. So it's
And then an
7
8.
plus 7.
Yeah, 14. Got that one. And then,
And then the
you
second
rolled.
d8 was an 8 plus 7.
Okay, yeah. So that's from what I already subtracted. That's another 7 off. Okay, this thing is looking pretty rough right now, but it's also kind of bulging and glorping happily from having swallowed a druid.
Burp.
Yep. All right. Nira. Wait, no. Okay. So Nira, this one right here. Okay, I take it back. This is the one that is currently going to try to run up here and slash at you with its claws.
Bring it.
All right. Oops. And it rolls an 8 and an 18. So 1 hits and does 9 points of piercing damage.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to use Wrath of the Storm again because I get.
All right. Yep.
So what was that again? 2d8.
I think, yeah, it's 2. I want to say 2d8. I'll look it up again, but do write it down this time. That's all
Write
right.
it down.
2d8.
All right. So it's 9 again.
Okay. Yeah. So that one, which actually hadn't taken any damage yet, does this time.
Sweet.
I have lost track a little bit of some of which ones have taken which damage. I'm making sure that collectively they have all subtracted the right amount of damage. And so, like I said, once we start the next round, they're going to all be on the same initiative. Just
What,
help me keep track.
Do I also need to make my Constitution?
Yes. For the call lightning. Hmm.
So it was a 10 to beat.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got 7 and 3. So I got exactly a 10.
So you've maintained it then.
Okay.
All right. So it is your turn now.
All right. Well, I'm going to pick that spot right between the two of them there. I don't care if I hit myself at this point.
Right there?
Yes.
Okay.
Hit yourself.
All right. So they're
No, no,
each
no,
going to make
hold
a
on,
dex.
hold on. I'm gonna change
Okay.
my mind.
Okay.
Well, no, it'd be the same. It'd be the same. It'd be the same. Like between those other two, like one space back.
Right here. Yeah, you would still be in, but if you
Well,
did that, if you
yeah.
hit it here, they would both be in it, but
yeah.
not you.
Okay. I want to.
You can
That
hit it
box.
here and
Yeah.
and get those two. All right. So they're going to make their dexterity saving throws. One gets an 18. The other gets an 8. I'm going to say this one gets the 18 and succeeds. This one gets 8 and fails.
So, and 3 is 12.
Okay. So one of them takes
Is
12
does that include the
lightning
one that
damage.
was baned?
Um,
'Cause that
yeah, the one that was
Okay.
baned, yeah, is the one that failed.
Got it.
And it takes the full 12, and then the other one takes 6. All right. Okay, that's your turn. We're back up to Mugen, and let's see. Mugen. No, I'm just gonna have him take another. He's going back after these ones that are on Nira. I'll save you, Toots. And he's gonna do another flail with his frying pan.
Isn't he a monk now? Like, can he still do
Oh
that?
yeah, I keep forgetting. Like it's running Mugen. I always forget what I need to do. You're right. So he gets. Well, okay, a couple of the things that he's done, he used his bonus action for something else instead of using what he can do as a monk for his bonus action.
Mhm.
But this time he is going to use it to make an additional attack, as you're suggesting. But the
Nice.
first one does hit, and it does 8 points of damage to that one, bludgeoning.
Ooh.
And then he is actually going to make an unarmed strike. He does this fancy little karate move. And that's D20 plus. That also hits and does another 7 points. So he just did 15 points of
Yeah.
damage to that thing.
Good job,
And
Mugen.
he says, "This is a lot more work than running
Yeah,
away."
welcome to being a hero.
Get a splinter.
All right, so I'm saying that this is the one that is all right. They're all in the same initiative now, so we're just going to go around this way. This one is attacking first, and it is going to this time try going after Mugen, who just hit it. Rolls a 12, which is a miss, and then a critical miss. And so this thing literally falls on its face, trying to slash at this very light on his feet fox monkey. And so I'm going to say it actually falls prone. This one is continuing to slash at you, Nira. Gets a crit on its first hit. It literally rolled double crit. Like it rolled 2 crits.
Dang.
Um,
Wrath of the what?
Yeah, Wrath of the Storm.
all right. So here's what's going to happen, though. Okay, you take 21 total points of piercing damage from the two crits. And like when you saw one of these things hit the panda twice, its arms start to like lengthen. Once it gets both of its arms around you, its arms wrap around you like vines, and you are grappled.
Can I still do Wrath of the Storm though?
Yes.
Okay.
Although, be aware that you are now doing lightning or thunder damage to something that has got you grappled.
Fine. I've done that dance before. I seem to recall a rug
Yeah.
back in the day, about 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead and roll your
Hmm?
go ahead and roll your, or unless you're
No,
not.
no, I'm not. I'm
Okay,
not,
going to
because-
refrain then.
Yes, because I have
it
8
would be-
points
it would-
left.
How fun would it be though if you knocked yourself out with your own wrath?
I
That
know.
would be not like me, wouldn't it?
Like, that would be
I'm
such
so
a
damn
moment.
mad.
All right. This one might have actually gone after you, but it's instead going to try to come up on you, Archie. And
Mhm.
and I think with 2 of them and the mound both kind of around you, I'm going to say it gets advantage on its attack. And remember, you're no longer hasted.
Right. But it is baned.
Yes, you're right. That is the baned one. So rolls a 17. So the 17 is the one that would be the advantage roll. And I think that misses even
Yep.
when you're not hasted, right? So
Yeah, I'm at 20 armor class now.
so that's its okay. So it rolled a crit for that advantage attack, but that's pre-bane, so it won't be a crit. And so it ends up with a total of 24 for so it looks like you're going to get one it's going to get one little clawed finger through
Bad
your
one.
armor, and you take only 4 points though of piercing damage. All right.
Yeah, so I am gonna invoke my hellish rebuke,
Okay, yeah, do it.
which will do 3d10 fire damage.
Nice.
4 14 total. 17 fire damage.
This thing goes off just like collapses into a little pile of ashes. It just
Ugh.
yeah, it definitely took more than it definitely just it went up immediately like dry pine needles.
Burn them all.
All right. So that was its attack. It's actually this one now that's going to shoot at you with its dart. But you see it getting ready to go, and this little thorn flies out of it and goes dink. Not impressed. And okay, so that, and then this one here is actually going after Andri because you're too hard. And it actually gets 2 hits as well. And so Andri takes 13 points of piercing damage. And once again, like with Nira, this thing gets its arms and wraps around her like vines. And so now she is grappled as well. I think I said, which one of these did I have grappling you?
The
I think it
bottom
was
one.
this
Yeah.
one was the
Yeah,
one that's
that
grappling Nira.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, so that's those. Now it's actually Andri's turn, and she's going to try to break the grapple. She's going to use her action to try to escape this grapple. Let's see what she's got here. She rolls a 23 acrobatics against the Child of the Briars. Yeah, yeah. She breaks the grapple and she's able to get out of the way, and so she decides to take her swings at it. And One goes wide, but the other one hits and does, yeah, she says, not, like, no touching, slash, and she cuts it in half. So that one's dead too. All right. That is all of the Child of the Briars. Amethyst, yeah, you are restrained. And let me just double check exactly what your options are here.
Christiane,
okay.
didn't ask, but I rolled an 18 for my Constitution check.
Oh, okay.
My
Thanks.
concentration.
Yep. Thank you for reminding me. And that you maintain for that, because it's half the damage you take. Well, okay, it's half the damage you take, or 10, whichever's higher, and you took more than 20 of damage, but half of it would still be less than 18.
Okay.
Okay, so Amethyst, make a Constitution saving throw.
4.
4. You feel this thing crushing you from all sides, and you feel its spines digging into you as it crushes you, and you still can't breathe, you still can't see, and you're going to take another, oops, no, not D4s, but D8s.
Oh shit.
You're going to take another 15 points of piercing damage.
And I can't bite or claw or anything, just out of, oh wait, I'm not a bear.
No, unfortunately, this thing's got you like you can't even move.
So I'm at 4 now.
Yep. All right. And it is actually the mound's turn, and it's gonna try to slam at you again, Archie.
Is it at least slowed while it's digesting me?
Well,
I
it doesn't have to move right now. Archie's already in melee range.
But I mean, I'm solid. I've got to be, a little trying.
It rolls a 26 and a 23.
Oh man.
Damn.
I woke up.
Yeah. So
with the bangs.
Oh, so 26 and 23 is without the bane.
Hit no matter
So
what.
so let's say
The 26 will definitely hit.
and then I rolled a 2 for the first attack, and then the D4 is only a 1 for the second attack, so it'd still only be 22. So both are going to hit, and you take 10 from the first one and 12. So yeah, you take another 22 piercing damage from this thing's.
This mud pie is seriously pissing me off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is now your turn, Archie.
Oh boy.
Kill the mound. Fuck it.
Yeah. I only have 5 hit points. So
Yeah, the mound does look considerably less healthy than it started.
If it means anything, Archie, I'm about to cast Prayer of Healing.
Okay. I won't worry about it. I'll be all offensive. So I'll do both of my attacks.
No more smashing.
They are both the same. They are both 19.
That hits.
So the 1d8, the first one is 6 plus 7.
So that's 13.
8 plus 7. Yeah, so 13.
And then another 15.
15, yeah.
You slash at this thing, and you see that it is really losing its structural integrity at this point. And then when you hit it with the other slash, it just sort of seizes and quivers, and then sort of just melts back into this puddle, revealing a now very messy amethyst. And then as it starts to disappear, all of these little guys start going. They start running away, and you see all around you that it would take some time for them to disappear completely. The vines are starting to look sort of dry and wilted, even by the minute. And so I'll go ahead and tell you we're no longer in initiative. These things are retreating. Unless you kind of want to seek them out and kill them, but they're definitely running away now.
Kind of pissed me off, but
Right.
You could still cast that prayer of healing
no,
if you
still
wanted
doing
to.
that. 'Cause
Okay, good.
everybody's on the verge of death, so 2d8
Sacred
plus my
flame, man.
spellcasting modifier is, let's see.
Please no.
So give
Sacred-
yourselves 14 more hit points.
Thank you, doll.
Thank you.
All right.
Whew.
And it's just as well because Nira, if Amethyst would not have been affected if she was still inside this thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, she knew. She knew.
Damn it. But yeah, I did that.
All right. Let me get you guys with your updated. But good job, you guys.
Oof.
Whew, that was close.
Yeah.
What's Mugen's health at now? He got pretty.
Well, so he's back up to full with that healing.
Okay, good. Cool.
Yep.
So I want to, assuming that I'm up and about.
Yeah. I mean, you're feeling much better with that healing.
Is there? I want to investigate the water that it came out of. Is there,
Yeah.
like
go
a
ahead and
nature? I guess.
I will let you make a nature check. Normally, I think for anyone else, it would be investigation.
So it's a 14.
I want to make sure it's dead, so I'm going to look at the water. I'm going to investigate too.
Okay. Yeah, you can roll an investigation roll as well.
So 21.
All right. Amethyst, what specifically were you looking for?
If there's an evil spirit or anything, like if there's any contamination, like what we saw at the very beginning of our campaigning.
What you get a sense of is, if you recall back when you did commune with nature, what you sensed a lot of in this particular forest was very wild spirits, like that didn't really have much of a mind or a personality to them.
Right.
And this one in particular seemed just kind of like vicious and aggressive without any kind of intent to it. And you know that like that's kind of not how the nature spirits would tend to develop in a true natural wild environment. And you suspect that, especially given what these wood elves told you was going to happen in here, was that you're going to be judged, is that it may have actually been their sort of attitudes about punishing anyone who does anything that seems the tiniest bit wrong that kind of might have made this thing. Like it almost became like a representation of their anger and
See, I told y'all that wood elves are assholes. I told you.
So you don't know exactly how that might have all gone down, but you do also, probing sort of the depths of this thing, get the sense that you guys were probably not the first that those wood elves have brought here. And you are nonetheless, however, probably the first to survive.
Is it dead? Like, did I investigate?
Yeah, and so that spirit has been dissipated. Its energy has sort of, gone back to the sort of ambient energy, and it will probably, collect into new spirits eventually. But that one is gone. And Nira, with your perception, you definitely see that, like, the sort of mound, this blob of material that had coalesced and become this entity is completely dissipated at this point. But one thing that you also discover with that high investigation roll is that towards the center of this big mud puddle, you see just the tiniest little bit of what looks like an arm bone, but it has a leather bracer on it.
Ooh, I want to take the thing.
Well, are you going to wade into this mud puddle for it?
Hey, Amethyst, can I borrow your staff for a second?
Sure.
All right. So you you go and I'm assuming you're just trying to kind of grab
Push it
the
out.
make a dexterity check.
I'm gonna end up neck deep in mud.
Fall in the mud. Fall in the mud.
17 plus 2, so 19.
Okay, yeah. So poking it around takes a little while because it's a little awkward. You know, I mean, it's the staff. It doesn't like have like a grippy hand on it or anything like that. But you are eventually able to get the one bracer. It kind of comes off this sort of decayed arm. Like it was just bones, but like it sort of, if you get it off, but the arm itself seems stuck deeper in the mud. So you're able to get the one off, and you get the sense that it's definitely one part of a set.
I want the thing, but I don't want to be gross.
And I just
You're
look
gonna
at
have-
her and I cross my arms.
Gonna have to dive.
Get messy, hooker. You want that gold, you got to swim for it.
Fine. Okay, I will. I'm
Gonna
going in.
wade in. All right. Once you wade in, it's actually not that deep. It's maybe 3 feet deep. So you know you're sort of up to your waist is getting pretty muddy,
Yes.
but you know you're not you're not up to your neck or anything like that. And so once in there, it's just pretty easy to kind of feel down into where the rest of the skeleton is. And you feel not only do you find the other bracer, but you also, your foot clunks into something hard that feels like hard and flat, like a box or something.
Ooh, I'm gonna take that too.
Okay. Now that you're sort of kneeling and bending down to try to pick this box out of the mud, you're definitely getting the rest of yourself pretty muddy.
At this point, does it matter?
Not to me.
Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah. So yes, you pull it up, and it appears to be a wooden box, about one. It's kind of tall, like it's only maybe 6 inches by 8 inches in cross section, but it's also like 8 inches tall. And it's just a little wooden box. It's closed but not locked, that you can tell.
Well, I'm going to get out of the cesspool before I open the box.
Sure.
Ugh, so gross. This
So
is like
you,
D&D dumpster diving, basically.
Yeah. But it looks good on you.
I would love to help, but it's really bad for the armor.
yeah,
Right.
Sorry.
it's true. It's true. You would get all rusty.
Hmm.
First of all, the bracers, you discover all of the mud just kind of just drips off of it, like they're treated. You know what I mean? Like it just comes right off, and they look new. The box, once you open it, has three glass flasks in it, and let me just I can describe what they look like. That's the wrong book.
So meanwhile, I'm going to cast Create Water and douse Nira and I to get the slime off.
Yeah, because you're super muddy too, having been swallowed by this thing. Let me grab the
It's
other
cold.
book.
What? What, Starla?
That was
And it's
cold.
cold.
Oh.
Produce warm water.
I know. I guess I should have asked the
Oh,
preferred
wait, I think
temperature
that-
first.
I just said you were gonna pee
Flame
on
first,
her.
and then water.
It's Nira we're talking about. I should have asked the preferred temperature before I even turned on the faucet.
I have the
Okay.
produce warm water spell.
Shut up, Chooch.
Doesn't take any thoughts.
Shut up, Chooch. Don't you pee on Nira. Don't you dare.
Nasty.
All right. So you see in this wooden box 3 glass little sort of flasks. And I can tell you what they look like in a second. One of them is the liquid looks clear, except it has like a tiny bead of like red color in it that as you watch the flask for a few seconds, this tiny little red bead that's like the size of a pea goes it like swells larger and then shrinks again. So that's one of them. Okay. One of them looks it's kind of black and looks like it's really thick. And then what was this? This doesn't list as many of them as I thought. And one of them has a clear liquid that it takes you a second to recognize what's weird about it, but what you realize is, all of these have a little bit of air in them, like at the top, but for whatever reason, this one, the liquid in it seems to be lighter than the air in it. So when you hold the flask right side up, all the liquid is up around the top of it, and there's a bubble of air at the bottom. And if you turn it, the bubble, so basically this liquid seems to actually be lighter than air.
Cool.
What time is it?
I'm thinking it's late afternoon.
Right. Do I get any sense of specialness from the bracers?
Yes, they look. Well, make an Arcana check. They look like they're magical, but you can make an Arcana check.
Yeah, that didn't go well. Intelligence. So I got an 8.
Yeah, you're pretty sure they're magical in some way, but
okay. Well, then I'm going to use that little magnifying glass.
okay. On the bracers?
Yes.
Okay. So you examine the bracers through the magnifying glass, and you feel its magic sort of take hold as you hold it, and you discover that these are they're bracers of the thorn, and what they actually do is they let you, when you're wearing them, as a reaction to being hit, you can sort of extrude thorns and make whatever hits you take 2d6 piercing damage.
Jelly. So jelly. Jelly.
Now, don't you wish you had gotten dirty?
I did
around
get
in the-
dirty while we were
Yeah,
fighting.
but you weren't digging around in the decomposing bodies looking for treasure.
Whatever.
And,
I'm just playing. I'm
you're
just playing.
like
Amethyst,
Mugen.
amethyst needs those. They're leather, right? They're not metal.
Yes. And it only takes a reaction to do it. There's no limitation. You can do it as many times as you have, but only one reaction per round.
Right.
But the one thing that you'll know if Amethyst takes it is that it won't work in her wild shape form.
Right.
Mm.
I'll tell you what, Amethyst. I will let you have the bracers if I can keep that cape.
Yeah, sure. I keep forgetting about it too.
Mugen says those magical items are there's a road to hell or something paved with magical items.
Blah blah blah.
Right. So yeah, that's
Magic
what
is
those
in my
bracers are,
veins.
and I'll send you the
Sweet.
details of it.
Thank you, Nira.
Yeah. And so the you can make an Arcana check on the flasks too, if you like. So we'll say first for the one with the the little red bead that's glowing and shrinking.
You're muted.
11.
11. Yeah, you're not sure about that one. Then
Okay.
you can make it for the sort of the thick black one.
15, 17.
This one you think, and you're not 100% sure, but it might be a potion of spider climb, which gives you the effect of a spider climb spell. Basically lets you climb up on like vertical ceiling. You know, you can walk on the ceiling or on vertical walls and stuff.
Nice.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the third one, the lighter than air one,
Mm-hmm.
that is a 12.
Yeah, that one you're not sure either, although just the nature of it seems like it might be related to something like changing the density of things or something like that, just from the appearance of it. But you're not 100% sure what it would do if you were to
Alright.
drink it.
Yeah, probably not gonna drink it.
What I will
Until
say
know.
too, though, is that you're you can't use it again today, but the magnifying glass would work on potions also.
Okay, I thought it was just magical items. So
The potions count in that.
good to know.
Yep.
So I rolled Arcana on those 3. I rolled a 14, 11, and 23 on the third
Okay.
one.
Oh, well, so the 23 will definitely tell you that is a potion of flying.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you drink that for a limited amount of time, you will be able to fly.
Neat. Do you want to carry him nearer? Or do you want me to put him in the bag?
I'll put them in the bag, but y'all don't get to touch those.
Oh, Jesus. Got it. Got it.
All right, yeah. So you have a pretty good idea about one of them. Amethyst was pretty sure about the potion of flying, but that other one you still don't know. But yeah, so
Well, it says it's great, enough red matter to destroy Vulcan.
flying panda hypu. So the as you guys have been sort of standing in there and investigating, you realize that these sort of vine walls are continuing to deteriorate around you, kind of drying out and kind of crumbling, and it's actually getting a little dusty because they're essentially decaying and crumbling into dust all around you. So it's kind of getting picked up on the wind a little bit. You don't get the sense that it's dangerous in any way. You're just aware that it's crumbling around you.
So if I were to cast, say, Sacred Flame, would I be in danger of starting a forest fire?
These
Yes.
vines look really dry right now.
Please
Well, I mean,
don't.
it might make for a good opportunity for us to get away from the asshole wood elves, but they're more likely to chase us. So.
I
Well-
would guess they're pretty damn good at tracking.
Yeah.
Well, and
Especially
then
if they're forest.
and then as a matter of fact, as you are kind of thinking that, you hear that same wood elf say, "What have you done?"
We were judged worthy, apparently.
Yes.
You
We
see,
have paid our what? Can't think of the word. Penance.
Yeah.
And now we will be on our way.
You see a sword kind of like hack through one of the walls near you, one these vines, and through it you see this wood elf, and he's got 4 buddies backing him up, and he just says, "What have you done? You've destroyed a spirit of this forest. How dare you transgress in this way? We will be forced to..." And then as he's starting to say that, you hear this booming voice like almost fill this entire clearing and saying, "No, wood elves, it is you that have been found wanting. Following rules is not the way of nature. Be gone and trouble these good travelers no more." And the main wood elf, like some of the others look kind of like nervous, but that first one is just like, wait, what is this? Is this a trick? And then all of a sudden he turns into a rabbit. The other 4 wood elves they scatter. And the rabbit's sitting there looking really confused. And then you kind of hear, hee, 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 hee.
Oh, yes.
And that is a great game.
Who's up for another round to find a pea? Or, dinner. There's a rabbit. So
That's awesome.
So yeah, you suspect that the fairy dragon has helped you out there, but he doesn't, or she doesn't seem to approach or say anything else. Andrew kind of looks up at the sky and says, "Well, I mean, we have another couple of hours of light if we want to try to get closer. We might almost be close enough to the gate from here. We might be able to get there before nightfall if we go now."
yeah, let's book it. I don't think we ought to stick around here.
All right. Okay, so yeah, she leads you out of this sort of decaying forest clearing, and as you actually turn back to look, you can see that this more standard flora of the forest almost already starts to be encroaching back on this clearing that had been taken up by the vines and the thorns. So as Andrew leads you through the so because I constantly forget. Let me go ahead and tell you how many XP you got for that fight. Okay. And then the shot of the priors are 200. You get 700 XP each for that encounter. All right, and so you're making your way more through the forest, and you actually find that more than ever before, it's like the forest is just making it really easy on you now. It doesn't look like an actual road or trail in any kind of a normal sense, but you're able to just go in exactly the direction you want, almost like it's a straight line, as though by coincidence there's just nothing in your way.
Nice.
And so eventually, after a couple more hours, it is getting really close to sunset at this point, but then you find yourself coming into and meeting up with an actual road that's going through the forest. And Andrew says, yes, this is it. We're very close now.
All right.
Excellent.
And so as you kind of follow the road now a little bit further, you do sort of, you're following this road for a while, and she stops you and just says, just over that hill is going to be the checkpoint to go up to Lenthic Gate. Do you guys want to just head up there, or if you want to, I don't know if you want to do anything before we go in.
Just a second. I want to reach out with my mind to my horse.
Oh, you know what? See, see, I keep, this is an example of what as you reach out to your, by the way, have you named your steed yet?
Oh crap! No, I still haven't.
Okay.
We
Well,
spend more time together.
You feel a little bit of telepathic resentment, but as you reach out to your steed, you find that it's actually already quite nearby, and it sort of strides out of the forest after you, and you can see that the other 4 horses are tethered to it, and it is leading them along.
Well, yeah, I tethered them to it before we left, didn't I say?
Yeah. Oh, excellent.
That is a good horse,
Thank
Archie.
you.
So are you guys doing anything else before you head further up into the dwarf city here?
Do we want to approach at night? I mean, I don't know. That really matters for dwarves. They live underground, right?
Andri says, yeah, I mean, dwarves, they sleep like anyone else, but they don't really keep the same hours because the sun doesn't matter.
Now let's head in.
All right.
Oh, I need to make sure that I have the letter on me so I can.
Well, okay. I mean, wherever you guys would have kept it, if you
Probably-
might have had it in the bag of holding, but you can get it out, for example.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do that.
Okay. So as you guys, do I have my note? Where's my little notebook? I have to grab something from my. All right. As you guys make your way towards this checkpoint that she mentioned, you see that it is a pretty standard little, just kind of like a little wooden, almost like a little. It's like a little wooden structure, almost like a house, but it's got big open windows on the sides to make it, easy for whoever's sort of sitting inside under this roof to, to see in all directions. But even though that kind of catches your glance first because it's most close to you, but when you look up past it, you see, and I've actually kind of sketched it here. So please forgive my my crude artwork if I can get it to. So you can see that there's a road that sort of curves back and forth in a serpentine pattern. It's about 20 feet wide, consistently all the way up, and it's a fairly steep grade, but it rises almost a quarter mile by the time you actually get to the granite cliff, and it's a pretty sheer drop off on either side around it. It weaves back and forth. There's stone railings on either side, and it looks clearly like it's meant to be defended. Like it's easily, it would be difficult to approach without being seen or attacked if you were of hostile intent.
Could you remind me, does anybody know, like real fast, what the Dwarven ambassador's first name was? Copperbeard?
Juntha.
Okay.
All right. So as you approach the checkpoint, there is a dwarf inside. He's got dark hair and beard, and he's wearing no helmet, but has like chain armor on, and he kind of looks up at your approach, and Andri says, "Oh, hey, Adric." He says, "Hi, Andri. It's been a while." They exchange pleasantries. She says, "I'm bringing these in. We're heading to the Copperbeard territory." He says, "All right." He doesn't seem to care much about needing anything else.
All right.
So he lets you pass, and so you've got kind of a climb ahead of you, going up this sort of serpentine back and forth path. It's not so steep that it's like requires any sort of a check to do, but it's like going upstairs in terms of the effort required. And so it's pretty significant in terms of being more difficult than just walking along normal ground. But the path on it is even and smooth, and there are the railings, and I mean it's intended to be used for wagons and such. And in fact, there's actually you see a wagon kind of making its way down from the top as you make your way up. And you're as you get closer to the top, and you kind of step aside to let the wagon go by. At the top, you see that the entrance is flanked by 2 large statues of dwarves. They might even be the same dwarf. And they're standing with their one hand placed on their chest like this, and the inner hand of the, the one that's on the side of the opening, gesturing in as in like inviting you to go in. But then atop the gate, there's one that's kind of looking sternly with its arms folded. And each of they're pretty impressive statues. They're each about like 30 feet tall. And you discover as you get close, and since it's starting to get dark, that they each have eyes that kind of glitter and glow different colors, as though they're lit up somehow. The one on the right is yellow gold, sort of colored. The one on the left, the eyes are blue, and the one on top, the eyes are red.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. And so if you anyone who's interested, does anyone have history proficiency? I think you might, Nira.
I do.
Yeah, you can roll a history check.
19 plus 3 plus
Dang.
5. Yeah, so
Yes,
24.
you have heard about this gate. All 3 of these are actually statues of the same dwarf, who is named Lenthic Shatterpike. And he is renowned because he was one of the first dwarves to leave the southern mountains in order to form new settlements in the Barrier Mountains thousands of years ago. And the meaning of the statues are that, like the one with the gold-colored eyes represents the desire to find new veins to mine. The one with the blue eyes is meant to represent a desire for peace away from wars in the old homeland. And the one with red eyes is determination to protect his new home.
So Nira is going on blah 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 dwarves. Very knowledgeable.
Wow.
And this is this, and that is that. And Archie might actually know this because isn't he?
Yeah, I
isn't
did
he
used to
from
live
here?
near here.
Well, so I was imagining Archie that was more towards the southern. So if anything, he would be more familiar with the other main gate, which I can tell you what it's called in a moment. Trying. All right. Well, I can look up what the other gate is. Olderam Gate is the one that's more on the south end of the Barrier Mountains, and of the 2 big gates that are meant for outsiders, that's the one that Archie would have been closer to. But I think, but there are lots of other entrances and exits to the mountains that are kind of intended to be like for dwarves only. And so my thinking is that, Archie, you would have been most familiar with some of the like outpost towns that are not really even underground, but would be near some of those entrances. But I would imagine that you might have seen the other gate once or twice, and it's kind of like this. It's got different statues and stuff, but the design is similar.
So Nira is giving everybody a history lesson on the way to the top.
Andrea is actually pretty interested. She's like, "Oh, really? I never knew that part."
Well, that's just going to encourage her. So yeah, she thinks that's the coolest that somebody is listening and interested. She's gonna keep going.
All right, so you make your way, into through between these statues here. The tunnel in between the statues is perfectly circular and 40 feet in diameter. The only part of the circle that's not totally circular is that the floor of the tunnel that you're walking on is a flat 20-foot wide road on the bottom of this circle, and it extends 60 feet straight into the side of the mountain, with a few flickering torches here and there, and about at 20 feet intervals as you pass through this long entry tunnel, you see there are 3 very, very thick, heavy portcullises that are open, but, you know, presumably could be closed, and they look pretty sturdy. And so as you guys enter this, you know, pass through this initial tunnel, you emerge into this enormous cavernous space. The ceiling, this cavern extends a good 50 feet above the level that you're on. And there's a big wide plaza present in here. But what you see is that this plaza kind of extends around a huge central shaft, 200 feet across, that looks like it goes down to the center of the earth for all you can tell. It extends well beyond the distance that you can see. And as you look kind of around the sides, you can see there's other levels that are open to this same central shaft. And what you also realize is that you can feel, in a sort of slow pattern, air bellowing in and out of this shaft. And when it does, it makes this sound like this enormous, like mountain-sized pipe organ. And it's kind of going boom, 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 boom. And it's not like deafeningly loud, but you're going to hear it pretty much anywhere you go in this area. You also hear, in the plaza, you hear a couple of dwarves who are apparently street performers, and they are playing steel drums. You know, like the kind in our world we might associate with like Jamaica or something like that. But that's what they're playing, and they definitely seem to be keeping a rhythm and harmonizing with these giant pipe organs. And so you realize too that while the air is blowing up out of this shaft, there's kind of a little bit of a sulfury smell. And then when it sucks back in, you sort of get a little bit of a salty, earthy smell. And this is just consistent in this whole area. And then in the distance, you also hear occasionally the sound of sort of a mechanical clattering. And I think maybe Archie, you would be familiar enough to recognize that that sounds like it might be a dwarven train of some kind. And so let's see. It's fairly dark in here. It's not total darkness, but it's definitely dimly lit compared to, you know, outside. So I would say everyone is doing okay, except Amethyst. Like, you can see to get around, but you're missing out on some of the grandeur of this place. You can't quite see as far as your companions here, with torches and gas lamps and everything here and there. So you're not going to, you know, bump into anything.
Wow.
And so you see, as you're entering this plaza, there's these little additional checkpoints and gates that you have to pass through. They don't look like they're really that well. They're not really fortified or anything. It looks more of a like bureaucratic type of thing. But in order to enter the main plaza proper, you're going to have to pass through that area.
Okay.
All right.
Dwarves are always overcompensating.
So are we still on horseback? Like, what do we do with the horses?
Yeah, you have your horses with you. I don't know if you want to be riding them or if just walking them along. I would think that Andrea would have encouraged you to go ahead and dismount at this point.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, you were probably riding them up that long path.
Right.
But they're also probably tired at this point. Yeah. And there's other animals here and there around. And like I said, these are not like turnstiles that only a person can go through. It's like I said, it seems like a bureaucratic formality reliant on people following the rules, as opposed to something that would really prevent someone from getting through if they wanted to. But so Andrea says, I've actually I've been through into the main plaza here, but never really any further in.
Mhm.
But so this is the customs office where we're basically just going to declare what our purpose is here and where we're planning to go. And they're just keeping records. They're not going to stop us.
Okay. Let's head through.
Yeah. And so sure enough, as she described the dwarf clerk, who is actually one of the rare dwarves you've ever seen not wearing armor of any kind. He's just got kind of a nice tunic on, and still got the full beard and everything. And he does just what Andrew suggested. He gets your names and asks what your purpose of visiting is.
We have a. Oh, should I be speaking in Dwarven?
If you like.
I would think that would feel like that would help us. So I will dress him in Dwarven. Say, we're bringing a sealed letter to. I don't remember his first name. What was his
Yogthor. Yogthor Copperbeard. Yeah.
To Yogthor Copperbeard, from his. Is he here?
Niece.
Yeah. Okay. So it's his uncle. Okay. From his niece Junta in Villanova.
Who is also the Dwarven ambassador. So it's like, which of those carries more weight? Hard to know, right? So he does raise an eyebrow when you're speaking in Dwarfish, and he kind of chuckles and says, "Well, isn't that an interesting thing to hear? A high elf speaking dwarf? Well, yes. Well, if you got that letter, you'll be wanting to take it to the Copperbeard embassy. It's he kind of points us round about that way. You'll see it's got a set of braziers and a triangle on the door. You can't miss it."
And Yogthor is there.
No, he's in the Copperbeard territory, but the embassy will be able to deliver the letter for you.
Right. Thank you for your help.
Of course. Be on your way. Be peaceful. All right. If you said something else, you're muted again there.
Oh, was he speaking Dwarven or Common?
He's speaking Dwarven to you because you spoke Dwarven to him.
All right. So I will lead them away, like towards the embassy.
Andrew grins up at you and says, "Your accent's pretty good."
Well, I'm getting a lot more practice these days. So what he told me is that we need to bring the letter to the embassy and that they'll deliver it. I believe we should explain to them in person that it's our duty to deliver it. I've maybe left that part out.
Well, have everyone you can all make an intelligence check at this point, if you like.
My intelligence isn't good. 10.
14.
11.
Right.
I'm the smart one.
All right. You don't especially remember anything else about that subject.
About what subject?
What you were saying about what you should do with the letter.
Dope.
I'll just give it to you. Junta told you that the letter would, if you gave it to the officials, that they would see that it got to him. That's what she told you.
Okay. Yeah, this is like 3 weeks ago at this point.
Yeah. That's why I decided to take pity on you and not force the whole element. But yeah, so
to the embassy.
Yeah. So you guys make your way, in the direction that the clerk pointed, and sure enough, you find a building that has a large coat of arms worked in steel on the front of it, and the braziers around it are in a triangular pattern. You suspect that this is the place.
All right. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't have like a character for this guy in here. So basically, what I'll say is, you go in there and you tell him basically what the deal is that you have this letter for Yogg-Thor Copperbeard. You are delivering it on behalf of his niece, the Dwarven ambassador to Villanocta, and it must be delivered to him with all speed. And he says, yes, of course. Are you expecting to be visiting the Copperbeard territory as well?
we are.
Very well. We will see that this letter is delivered immediately to the Copperbeard territory. It's about an hour from here by train. However, in the meantime, I would suggest that you find an inn nearby. There's one I think you might enjoy, called the Next Worst Thing. But don't let that name fool you. It's actually quite a fine establishment. But be prepared, though, that if Yogg-Thor is interested in seeing you, your room will be compensated, and it will be taken care of by the Copperbeard clan. But do be aware, though, that if they decide not to see you, then you will be expected to pay.
Oh, of course. We wouldn't assume otherwise. Thank you very much for your recommendation.
All right. And so do you make your way to that inn?
Yeah,
Yo.
I think so.
Yeah, so you find it, you can ask around a little bit and you find it, and it is in fact called the Next Worst Thing, and it has what looks like a rainbow around the name on it. And then as you pass inside, you definitely get the sense that this is what sort of passes for a theme bar. That the ceiling of this big common room has been plastered and painted bright blue, and there's little like metal clouds and birds hanging from the sky, from the ceiling in various places.
That's like racist. Racist against surface dwellers.
Yeah. All right. So we're running. Yeah. Okay. I think what we're going to do, since we're getting close to time here, assuming you guys are you going to get like one room altogether or separate rooms? They have rooms for each of you, and they have
Slumber party.
Yeah, because there's like, let's see, 3, 4, 5 of us now, so maybe 2 rooms.
Yeah.
So not
Reasonable.
completely split, but
Sure.
not crammed like sardines.
Yeah. So, did you guys want to do anything specific before you turn in for the night?
I need to do my nightly ritual, my daily
Sure.
ritual. I don't know what I learned today, but okay. So I get we're in the rooms now, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So I'm gonna have a seat, kind of center myself. Rishama, your humble servant comes before you to offer knowledge for the day. Today I learned digging around in the muck can sometimes have its own rewards. We are still en route to going further along in this mission. I have nothing new to report on that front, but we are making progress. And that's it. That's all I got.
You get just sort of a general nod of acknowledgement. You know,
Yeah.
message received.
No biggie.
So I'm going to say you guys all kind of, turn in for the night. I mean, unless you're planning to keep watches or anything, or you just,
I feel pretty safe.
and yeah, Andrew's pretty confident that like this is a safe place. So what I'm going to say though is that sometime in the middle of the night. Nira is probably, either fully awake or in her trance in which she could still hear things. But I'm going to let the rest of you make a perception check.
Nat 20
Wow.
3.
-1.
So I
right.
don't have to, correct?
No, you're awake, so you'll hear this too. Actually, go ahead and make a roll too, just to see how and how much of what you hear.
You said perception, right?
Yep.
12 and 3 and
I'll let
3,
Mugen roll
so
too.
18.
Okay.
I'm not even
All
gonna
right.
feel bad because I got eaten by a mud pie.
Yeah, Mugen,
Yeah.
Mugen and Amethyst are snoozing, and they don't hear this. You guys got 2 rooms. How are you split up?
I mean, it's been girls and boys on stuff so far. Is that
Yeah.
still what you want to do, Nira?
Yeah.
All right. So Archie and Mugen are in one room, and Nira, Andrea, and Amethyst in the other.
All stretched out.
So, so Nira and Archie both hear this. Mugen and Amethyst and Andrea are all asleep. But you hear what starts as kind of a lot, kind of like stomping footsteps down in the common room, and some voices, and then there's a little bit of a raised voice that you kind of remember as being like the innkeeper, who's kind of just saying, "Come now, this is not how things are done." And then you don't really hear the reply. And it's like, "No, I'm not going. I'm going to raise this to the council." Very well, they're upstairs.
Ooh, and at this point, I'm going to wake my companions.
Yeah, I think I would wake Mugen.
All right. He probably is like, "Yeah, 5 more minutes."
Buddy. I don't think we have 5 minutes.
Yeah. Amethyst, prepare thyself. Andrew, get up.
Yeah. So Andrew's, what? What are we doing? Huh?
Something's happening. There's voices downstairs. It sounds like trouble.
Yeah. Sounds like angry stomping.
Okay. And I'm going to say you guys have not gotten a full long rest. Well, we can count that as a short rest if you want to
Okay.
roll hit dice.
Yeah.
Let's use it. 22. So hit dice. And it's the D8 plus what? What was it?
Well, it's whatever your hit die is plus your
Right.
Constitution modifier.
That's what it was. I'm gonna roll 3. 20, 23. So 22 and 23 to bring me up to 45. So I'm almost healed.
Okay.
Yeah, I do 3 for 30. Brings me up to 37, so close to healed.
All right. Are you rolling hit dice?
Yeah, I'm
Amethyst?
sorry. 1 second.
No problem.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna. So I'm gonna roll 3, and that gets me up to 39.
All right.
Back up to 39, full
And
health.
Andrea and Mugen were both already full from the previous healing. So as you guys, you hear this sound, and as you're kind of collecting yourselves and waking your companions up, by now you're hearing what sound like armored boots coming up the stairs. Now, so, Archie, you and Mugen are in one room. What's your plan here?
Well, I want to get geared.
Yeah. Okay. And putting on your armor and
Yeah. Archie. Or no, Mugen. You don't think this would have anything to do with all your little issues, would you? You don't want to hide or anything, do you?
Maybe they're just really impatient to meet with us.
All right.
What about you, Nira and Amethyst? What are you doing in your room?
Well, I'm gonna stay loose.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna draw anything because if they're not here to kill,
All right.
I'm not gonna provoke that. So
All right. And is anyone coming out of their room, or are you just staying in your room but ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait.
yeah, I'm gonna wait.
Okay. So as you guys, kind of continue to listen, you hear these armored footsteps approaching. You hear the innkeeper kind of say, "They're in those two rooms." And so your room first, Nira and Archie. I'll say, like you're hearing this kind of from across the hall. I'm going to say you guys are across the hall from each other.
Cool.
And there's a pounding on the door. Dum, 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 dum. Copperbeard militia, please open the door.
What is your intent?
To escort you to Yogg-Thor Copperbeard. And then there's a little bit of a pause when you say it in Dwarven, and then it's like, we're here to escort you to Yogg-Thor Copperbeard per your letter.
All right. I'm going to open the door.
All right. And you see a female dwarf in heavy armor. She does not have any weapons drawn, but she does have them. She's got a big battle axe kind of over her, like on her back. And you can see that the two companions she's got flanking her in the doorway are, again, they have heavy crossbows, but again, they're not like drawn or wielding or anything like that. And then you see, actually, if you kind of look, there's actually two more slightly down the hallway, and they're watching the other door. But the female dwarf who seems to be in charge just kind of looks in and appraises who's in the room. Is like, the other two in the other room?
Correct.
All right, then. Are you ready? Come with us.
Lead the way.
And,
go ahead and open the door.
Okay. And she glances over and sees you and does kind of squints her eyes just a little bit at Mugen and says, "You all prepared? Do you need anything else? You'll not be coming back here.
We're ready.
Bring whatever you need."
Yeah, I've got all my stuff and I'm putting on my new shiny bracers.
What about our horses?
There's in the stables now. I'll say yes. That's where they are. Copperbeard clan will cover their stay.
Thank you very much.
Very well. Lead on.
So you guys notice that you're coming along willingly, and nobody's drawn their weapons or anything, but they definitely have their people like surrounding you as you move down through the stairs and back out through the common room. And there's a handful, like this is in the middle of the night now. This is like maybe 3 a.m. or something like that. And there's a handful of boozy looking dwarves in there that are, kind of wide-eyed staring at you like, what's going on? This is weird. And so you're making your way through, and so yeah, they're guiding you out, and as they have you leave the inn, they definitely, notice as you are leaving the structure back into the main plaza that they're kind of paying extra attention again, just like just in case you were going to make a break for it or something.
Walk regally.
No, we intend to go exactly where we said we were going to go.
It's like, all right, this way is the train station. And I think we'll actually we'll call it there for tonight, because we already ran a little bit longer than I was expecting to. It's pretty late, but
the choo-choo.
But we got a late start tonight, so
yes.
Yeah.
But we got through almost all of the stuff that I was kind of hoping to get through tonight. So Yeah.
Right on.
I'm excited because I think next week we'll have our first guest player.
Ooh.
Sweet.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right. So, yeah, you guys, you did great in that the Mother of the Briar encounter. And, you've encountered this new locale, and tomorrow or like next week you'll be taking a train ride to the Copperbeard territory.
Woo.
We had several people in the chat. We had Paulette and Zachary Ricks just says it's an escort for your protection.
We're on the Orient Express.
Yep. Yeah, right. They could just be there to make a polite inquiry in the middle of the night, unannounced, in
Right.
armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So thanks, you guys, and thanks you to all of you either in the chat live with us or watching or listening later. And we'll be back next week for more adventure on so many levels.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.